we're asked to come up with the equation that's perpendicular to this one. And we can pause right there. To find something that's perpendicular, it needs to have the flip of the slope and the opposite sign. In other words, we got to figure out what the slope of this is, and then we can identify what the perpendicular slope is. So before we even read on, let's take this equation, and we got to get it in slope-intercept form. We've got to get y equals something. Okay, so I want to subtract this x from both sides. And then I need to get y by itself, so I got to get rid of that times 3. So I'm going to divide everything by 3. And that's a 1 in front of the x, right? If there's no number written. Okay, so I took this equation, I put it in slope-intercept form, I just manipulated it. Now I can figure out what the slope is. The slope is always the number that's attached to the x. So a perpendicular equation is going to have the flip of the slope, so it's going to be 3 over 1, and it's going to have opposite signs. So this one is negative, so perpendicular is going to have a positive slope. So in other words, my new equation is going to have 3 for a slope. So in y equals mx plus b, the equation of a line, I'm going to put 3 in for my slope. And then to finish out the equation, I need to know what b is. So that's where I can use this x and this y. I have an x coordinate and a y coordinate. I can plug those in, and that can tailor my equation to pass through that point but still have that same slope that we need. So I plug the -5 in for x, -1 in for y, and now I can solve this equation for b. Add that 15 to both sides, so 15 plus -1 is 14. Make sure to use a calculator to check yourself if you have trouble with negatives. And now I have everything. I got my slope. The m was 3, and the b is 14. So this is the equation that's perpendicular to this one and passes through this point. But the extra detail they asked us for was standard form. This is in standard form. Standard form is where it's a number x plus a number y equals some number by itself. So we've got to rearrange this so that it's in standard form. Some number a, x, plus some number b, y equals some number c. So we've got to have x on the left, so let's subtract that 3x from both sides. So it's going to give a negative 3x, and then it's plus a y here, because it was a positive y. And look, we've got ax, by. I don't know why I have an extra plus there. But one thing about standard form is for some reason they always make us make the first number positive. So let's just multiply everything in this equation by -1 to flip the signs. That's it. That's our equation in standard form.